Okay, right now I want to talk about the greatest predictor of success. Do you guys want to know what the greatest predictor of success is that can predict whether a child will become successful or whether the child will become a failure? Okay, study after study has shown this. You know what that is? Do you think it's college? Ooh, as long as you got that degree, woo, you'll be successful. No. Is it government handouts? Ooh, as long as I get that stimulus check, I will be successful. As long as I rely on Big Daddy government, I will become successful. No, it's not it. Oh, if I subscribe to feminism, if I toe the woke line, if I become a single mom, oh, I'll become successful. No. You know what the greatest predictor of success is? It's you growing up in a two-parent household. This is true. Study after study after study has shown that when you grow up in a two-parent household, not only will your mental and physical faculties develop normally and healthy, but you have a greater opportunity to succeed in the world. Doesn't mean you're going to become some billionaire. No, I'm not saying that, right? What I'm saying is you will become successful in whatever area you decide to pursue in life, right? In most cases, it doesn't mean like, oh, I came from two-parent household. Why am I still, struggling in life? Yeah, it doesn't mean everybody. It just means statistically, that is the greatest predictor of success, right? The people who are the most successful, the most happy, doesn't mean you have to be Rockefeller, but have the best quality of life came from two-parent household, right? Does this mean that if you grew up with a single mom that you're doomed? No, it just means that your starting point is back further, right? It's going to be a little more challenging. It's going to be a little more difficult just because, again, your mental faculties, mostly your mental faculties, were kind of robbed from you, right? You weren't able to develop those because you didn't have, your dad, right? You didn't have that. Right? I mean, same thing. If you didn't have, or if you only had your dad, and you didn't have your mom, you're probably missing some of those nurturing faculties, right? But it is more dangerous for a single mom than a single dad. The studies on that prove, are pretty dead on that it's better to grow up with a single dad definitely than a single mom, right? You rather have your single dad because he is more likely to enforce discipline into you, rules. He's going to be stricter with you. You're going to have to essentially learn to abide by his authority. And then when you become an adult, you realize that, hey, you can't just do whatever you want. Like if the cops pull you over, you can't just pull out a weapon and expect them not to kill you, right? That would happen to anybody, no matter what color you are, right? If a Martian came down and did that, they would just assassinate the Martian, right? And they'd be like, no, we need that dude for testing. We need to run studies on him and dissect him. No, they'd be like, oh, dude tried to kill me. Dude pulled out like a laser, and I had to shoot him, right? So you learn when you have a father, when you grow up with a father, that, there are some boundaries that you should not cross, right? Whereas when you grow up with a single mom, they're not enforcers that way, right? They're just not. So you feel like, the world is just your stomping ground and you could do whatever you want, no matter who you hurt or whose lives you endanger, and you think that's okay. No, it's not okay. You're not allowed to do that and infringe on other people's safety, on other people's right to just want to feel free. You're not allowed to do that, right? But really, that's only a lesson a father can teach you, right? Because a father can put his foot down. A father can pick you up and throw you across the room. Single mom can't really do that after a certain age, right? But usually by the time you get 10, you're around 10, you're stronger than your mom. Okay, and they just don't have the power to do that. But regardless, the studies are clear that coming from a two-parent household is the greatest predictor of success. Now, knowing that, and knowing that the studies show this, many studies, why is the Matrix constantly pushing like non-two-parent households? Why are they constantly pushing single-parent households, single motherhood mostly? They don't push single fatherhood. You notice that? They only push single motherhood. Why do they constantly push failure over success? Because they know that's going to harm kids. Why don't they push what's going to be good for people, right? What's going to be good for kids, which is two-parent households. They don't want to push that because it just goes back to money, power, and control. I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's all it goes back to. So, this is another reason that, I mean, no matter what happens to you in life, you just have to realize the world is not fair. Okay? The world is not fair. It's definitely not equal, and it never will be. It will never be fair. No matter how much the wokies out there, the woke matrix, wants to sell you on this lie of equality that, hey, don't worry, we're on it. We're going to work on this. You just sit back while we work on this equality thing, make things fairer for you. It's never going to be fair. That's a complete lie, right? Only losers are sitting back waiting for them to fix their lives. Winners take control of their own lives and fix it themselves. Okay? And I take my own advice. I grew up in a house where we didn't have a whole lot of money, and my parents were constantly working, and my starting point was back there, right? And I took advantage of it. People always think like if you grow up in a family with money, you've got it made, man. You got it made. No, not always the case. And I'm sure there's studies on this as well that a lot of kids from very wealthy families end up becoming drug addicts, end up becoming like complete losers, end up becoming woke activists. A lot of these woke activists, by the way, that are like championing for like higher minimum wage and just complete activists out there, grew up in very well-to-do families. Right? Their parents were like professionals. They're either like doctors or lawyers or own some computer corporation. They grew up with a lot of money. So it astounds me that like brokies are listening to people who grew up in wealthy families. Like, no, these people are losers. They don't want you to succeed. They're angry at their parents because their parents were successful capitalists, and now they've turned on that because that's their way of having an identity, right? Because their parents were successful, they know they can never outdo their parents because they don't believe in themselves. So they turn into these wokies like promoting socialism and all this, and it's like, dude, you grew up in a mansion, shut up, right? You have no idea what you're talking about. You grew up in a bubble. You didn't even grow up in the real world, right? You don't know what struggle is about. You don't know that humans are driven by incentive and that humans want to build things and create. It's like just because you got to sit back and just use daddy's credit card, most people don't have that, right? And it's bad. I mean, I'm glad I grew up in the environment I did, like economically. It's just we didn't have a lot of money, and I learned the value of a dollar and how to save my allowance, and how to stretch a dollar, and just I really valued like working and trying and succeeding and and not waiting for anybody to come save me. I mean, if you're waiting for somebody to come around and, send you a lifeboat, it's just not going to happen, right? And that's the main thing about what I teach you guys. I try to be as honest as possible, as raw as possible. I'm telling you, life is unfair. It's always going to be unfair. It's always going to be unequal. But you know what? Winners thrive regardless, okay? Winners will always thrive regardless of the odds. Okay? Never tell me the odds. Winners will thrive regardless because you believe in yourself that much, right? And it also, too, your focus, right? Where's your focus? Is your focus on watching the Matrix, the mainstream news, and looking for more excuses for why you're failing? Or is your focus on actually improving, spending every waking moment of your day trying to get better? Yeah, that's Cash in the back. Cash is snoring. We're traveling right now. But yeah. People always ask, is that Cash? Yep, it's Cash. My pug. Gizzy doesn't snore. Gizmo doesn't snore. But regardless, there's always going to be unfairness, inequities in the world. I hate to tell you, things are going to go wrong, but it all boils back to how you handle it, right? It goes back to your attitude, as I always say, right? Your attitude, your mindset, that determines. Really, once you're beyond your parents' house, that now determines how successful you'll become. Obviously, again, if you come from a two-parent household, you will have better mental faculties to handle that, right? You will have just better self-discipline, right? And I really owe that to my dad. He's instilled a lot of discipline for me. I remember very vividly, like we would go running from time to time. I was probably in fifth grade, right? And we would run, it was called the polo fields in San Francisco. So we'd run these laps around the polo fields. So he would always be like, okay, I want you to run like 5 laps, or yeah, he'd be like, run 5 laps. And I remember one time I was just like not feeling like running, so I cheated and I ran like probably like 3. And I just kind of like, there were ways where you could kind of hide in the bushes and then like run. So I kind of like sat back, hid in the bushes and ran. And then he'd come out because he was watching, right? And I thought I tricked him. And so we got back in the car and he goes, how many laps you do? And I'm like, 5. Pulls me up, like literally picked me up and put me in the front seat. Tell me the truth. I literally got my face. I was like, and I started to break down. No, tell me. And I didn't want to tell him. I was like, and he was like, no, I don't know. I want to hear it from your own mouth, and like literally, like, and I never forgot that. I mean, but it was lessons like that, right? It just corrects your behavior. And then from that point on, obviously I didn't cheat. I ran, right? I ran. And if I had to walk, I walked, right? But I was a lot more honest after that, right? I mean, not only... And he made a point. He goes, this is not for, this is not for me. I don't enjoy this. He goes, this is for you. I don't want you to think this is okay, right? He goes, that's not okay, right? And he really instilled that into me. And he was like, that's not okay. Don't lie to yourself, if anything. And he goes, so yeah, it's things like that that's moms just can't do. Moms can't just, my mom would never have done something like that, right? If she caught me cheating, like, for whatever reason, if she was out there running and caught me cheating, she would just be like, oh, it's okay, oh, maybe tomorrow. That's how moms are, right? They're not enforcers. They're not designed to pick you up and like throw you in the front seat and start screaming at you and, doing that. They're not, right? Only a father can do that. And it's that type of discipline that, just those little instances, obviously it didn't happen every day. It was like once in a blue moon, right? But when those things happen, they stick in your head and they help you just kind of maneuver life, right? In a more disciplined way, where you start to hold yourself accountable and you start to hold yourself to a higher standard. And you don't really care. I mean, you don't really look to the outside world for cues. You start looking internally. Right? And that's why a 2-parent household is so important, man. It's so important. And if I were to grow up with a single parent, if I were a kid, I would want to be with the dad. I would want to choose my dad. Yeah, the same dad that my single mom keeps bashing and talking bad about. I would want to be with him, right? So regardless, that is the greatest predictor of success. Not government handouts, not the Civil Rights Act, not freaking... how much money your family had growing up. No, the greatest predictor is if you had both parents, right? Regardless of how poor you were, regardless of how, anything, really. I mean, actually, it's kind of better to be poor, because you grow up understanding just the value of money and how important it is. And it's just, there's this socialist utopia that the wokies keep preaching is just buffoonery, right? It's just never going to happen. I mean, you're never going to see a society thrive because of, everyone is adopting, like communism or whatever. I mean, you don't see, there's a reason people are trying to break into the U.S. constantly, every second of the day, trying to cross our borders illegally, try to come here. It's because they still believe in that American dream. I mean, people who come here from other countries, especially communist countries, they're the first ones to want to wave that American flag, man. But it's people who grew up here, especially from wealthy families, like I talk about, a lot of these wokies grew up in rich families. They're the last ones to wave an American flag. It's like, yeah, because your family's already rich. But these people just come in here, they haven't done it yet. They want to be part of that. So they're going to wave the flag. They're going to be proud. They're going to be like, no, we don't want socialism. We just left that. You don't see anybody trying to break into North Korea, right? They don't have a border problem. Right? Or Venezuela, they don't have a border problem. No, we do. They're trying to break in here. So as always, drop your comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are on tonight's coaching video. Anything you'd like to add, anything you'd like to share, drop them in the comments below. As always, this is Matt Cross from AlphaMaleSecrets. Don't forget to smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, smash that notification bell as well. Helps me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. And do it for the algorithm. Do it now. And for you guys who want to support my work, if I'm enlightening you, if I'm educating you, if I'm making you a better, smarter man, the best way to support me is by becoming a premium subscriber of my premium AlphaMaleSecrets program. Right now it's only $1. And all you need to do is click the link in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds, and you're going to be able to access premium Alpha Male Secrets content from me that you won't find here on my channel. So take advantage of it and click the link below, go to my website, get signed up, and I'll see you in my next coaching video. I'm out.